right? So now our job is to add a class for the model. How are we going to do that? In your project navigator, find the folder in which this main activity is, and right click on that, new, and the first option is Java class. So choose that, and it's going to ask you some questions. What is the name of the class? In Java, as you know, class names and file names have to be the same. Some other languages will give you the freedom to use different names for the files. So we are going to give it a name. Let's call it calculator model. Okay, and this is if it was, if you were creating a subclass of another class. Let's say later on you add a scientific calculator, a mode called scientific calculator. Maybe you can subclass this and inherit all the operations. But for now, we'll just leave it blank. You can leave these as they are, the visibility modifiers, etc. And say OK. And it will create the class stub for you. Class calculator model. So now we need to define these. What should be the data type for the numbers? First number and second number and result. Integer. What if there is a decimal in the numbers? Double. Double would be the most logical, right? So we will define here. We'll just use the same easy to read. Oops. Yeah. Any idea how to do that? Control Shift plus is normally what I would do. Not doing anything. Let me see if it's in view. Search probably. Search. Okay, let's find out. Settings font. Okay. Editor. Colors and fonts. Editor. Better? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So we've declared those. For the operator, we have choices. We could define constants and use them, or we can just use a string. Actually, it's going to be one character. Whatever we want, we could use. We'll go with the simplest here. We're not going to get caught into doing complex things right now. We'll just use a string as the operator. And then later we'll be able to use it. Just like we did for the buttons, we created a switch case. We'll do the same. Okay. Okay. So we have these. Now we need, let's define set methods for, generally for properties, it's a good idea to have set and get methods to retrieve their values. And in this case, we'll be setting the first and the second number in the operator, and we'll be retrieving the result. So we'll define get and set methods for this. So now this is set are going to be void set first number, and it will receive an argument. Just call it num. And what this will do is it will say first number equal to num. This will set our first number, and there is a reason. We could have just changed it directly, but in a moment we'll see why we need these methods, why it's a good idea. And similarly define the one for the second number also. And you'll see that Android does a lot of typing for you, the Studio. When I say get or set, when I start defining, let's say now I'm going to say public double get, it gives me all the properties I've defined. I don't have to type them. I can just choose. So I've defined those three properties, and they're see, I've defined the operator also, but because I said double, it knows that it won't be returning the operator. Return result. Okay, now we need another one for the operator. So now we're slowly building up our model. Right now it will allow us to set the first number, and I forgot to add the code here for the second number. You can do that. Are all of you familiar with the syntax here? Anybody want me to explain anything here? Please just let me know. Okay, how are we going to use this class? So we have a class here. It doesn't do much other than allowing us to set the first number, second number, and the operator. So in order to use it, what do we need to do? Call it. How are we going to call it? In our main activity, which is the controller, we need to create an instance of the model, and then that will, so that becomes the object in which these things are stored. Right? So we'll create an instance here, and the way we'll do it is calculator model Why is it complaining? Java wants you to use the keyword new every time you are instantiating a class. And these things you will find. Have you started doing any coding in your iOS, introduction to iOS? Little bit. Okay. So over there, when you create a class and you want to instantiate it, you don't need the keyword new. So you will have to just get used to these slight differences. And it will happen that you will type new there and you will say, okay, I don't need it. Or here you will not type a new. That's what just happened to me. I just did the Swift style. And then it just presented with the red underline. Okay. So now we have the model, right? This is where we were last time. We had all these cases for the digits and the dot. Now, let's say I want to do this case. Okay. So when we were discussing this, we typed 2, 2 and plus. We said we were going to do what? What do we do this with this 22? We assign it to the first number, right? So in this case when plus has been pressed, whatever is on the display will assign it to the first number. Okay? And what is on the display is, if you recall, let's just look at this code again. Button clicked is the method that is called whenever a button is clicked, right? Any of those digits or operator or anything. And in this, we first retrieve the button, then the button text. And then from the text view, we first retrieve the text view and we retrieve what is on display right now. That is our current number. So we want to take this current number. Now it is available to us when the plus was pressed. And we want to set this in the model as the first number. So what would we write here? What would be the code? So first of all, which method are we going to call? Yes, and in fact we declared a set method. So we'll call that method. So that will allow us to do other things if needed while we are setting this. Okay. Calculator model dot set first number current number. And this is going to give an error. Yes. How do we do that? Convert a string to the number. Why don't you guys Google it and find out how to convert a string to a number in Java? Parse double. Does it throw any errors? Okay. Let's do it in 2 steps. So we'll say int, not int, double. parse double. Parse double is not a global function. So which class is it a part of? Double. Exactly. Right? And here we just have to say first number. Okay. So this will set the first number. We know one more piece of information. What is that? That can be sent to the model. Plus the operator. So we'll do that as well. Calculator model dot set operator. And so here, instead of saying plus, this plus is actually the button text, right? So I'm going to say button text in case if it is possible for us to reuse this case for multiplication, division, right? So if we say plus here, we are stuck to that, or we'll have to change it later. So we'll just say button text. So it is going to send the plus to the model. So at this point, when you run this and you type a number and say plus, your model will get updated by that information. How do we check that? Let me try something here. How many of you have tried to use the debugger in Android Studio? That's something useful, and I want to show that. I should be able to do that using my phone here instead of the emulator. Okay. Okay, so now once I've connected it, see, it is showing me my device here. And you can run it in your emulator or your device, does not matter. What I want to see is I want to be able to watch these things. What is there? What is happening to these values as we are progressing? So so right now, if you type a number in your emulator or phone, wherever you're running it, type any number and say plus, and then try to type the second number and see what happens. While we what happens? You type a number, then plus, and then another number. What does it do? Does it do anything? It does something, right? What does it do? It just keeps appending the number, right? It does not. It will not show the plus. We don't want it to this. So we don't want it to show the entire, like an equation. We just want it to show the number, register the plus, but also know that now the second number is going to start. What I'm trying to do is to set a breakpoint and then watch the values. For some reason, the execution won't even go there. Okay, never mind. We'll come back to this. So what we want is, along with this, we want the controller to know that the number that was being entered has now been entered. Now, if there are any more digits, they belong to the second number, right? So what did we do in our, here we have defined a variable at the top, start new number, right? So when start new number is true, it starts a new number. So what we have to do is, in here we have to set start new number to true. So now when you run it, type a number, then plus, and then another number, it should not append. It should start creating a new number in the display. Okay. Is that happening? So in case you don't have this, let's see if I can split the window. So the studio also compresses lines. You see, whatever is in green highlight, they were on separate lines and this plus appeared. So originally it was typed like this. And the studio at its discretion, the editor will do that. So these are the two things we have got going right now. So question, see here this function name is in darker letters than this and this. Why is that? Because of the use, yes. So whatever is unused will be lighter. Even the method, the actual variables we declare, that also is going to be shown like that. Okay, so once you have this much, we have typed the first number, we have typed plus, and now we are typing the second number. And when we are done typing the second number, we want to press, right? So we need to start implementing a case for that as well. Okay, let me just make sure everybody is up to this point. If there are people still working on this, you're still working on it, Pankaj? Okay. You're getting an error? You're getting an error? What is the error? Missing return in which function? Get it? Yes. That was a big error. It's back? Maybe just the screen was off. Okay. So, if you're getting an error, you see on the right, there are these lines to show where the, okay, because this method is declared as a public double. When you declare a method as public double, it expects it to return double. But this is a void. It's not returning anything. Look there, it just says public void. So where we are returning is only we get result. Why is that? So we set the text look at the function call the text being initialized. Same file. Text where we initialize. What is it being initialized? Then we shall give you the idea of it. What is the idea of the text? Go to the layout activity main.xml. Select this. So you want to see the idea of this. Then it will start getting the right. Okay, let's start talking about this equal to now. What do we need to do when equal to is pressed? What are the events, the things that need to happen?
Add first number and second number.
Okay, so first of all, so far, have we told the model what the second number is? Have we? No, right? So we need to call set second number. So whatever is on display, we set that as the second number. So that should be our first statement here. Okay, and before we can do that, let's start with that. Calculator model dot set. Now we are going to have the same issue we had before. If we use the current number, which is a string, it is going to complain. So we need to convert that into a double. So let's do that before that. Double. You can copy and paste also, whatever you prefer to do. Current number, and set second number will provide it this second number. Okay. Now then, set the second number. We need to, so we had 2, then we press plus, then 3, then we press equal to. Now we want to change this to what? To the result, right? So we'll set it to the result. Let's call that method here and reassign this. So whatever, if you remember from last week, after this switch, we are setting the current number back to the text. So what we want to say is current number is equal to calculator model dot get result. Thought to string won't work because this is a native type. So how are we going to do it? How do we convert a double to a string? Double. So we have to initialize an object of class double and then do dot to string. So that's what we'll do. So we first create a double with a capital D. Actually, Is toString a static method, Shahrukh? Okay, double dot toString. Okay, so I'm putting it in the wrong place. Let me just do it here. Double result equal to double dot toString. So if toString is a static method, it will work. Calculator model dot get result. Required double found Java string. Oh no, my mistake. I'm sorry. This should say string. So this will return a string, and now this string, this line is redundant. It's not redundant. I just have to set this to result, current number to result. So then what will happen is as we exit, it is going to, when we are done with the switch case, it will come out and set the text view to that. So now when you run your app and do 22 plus 33 equal to, what do you get? What should you get? You're getting a big 0. One head is nodding. 0. 0, right? Because we haven't computed the results. We just declared it as 0. We haven't computed it. So now we need to compute it. Over here in get result, we can do it in get result, or we can create a method. Let's create a method called something like do calculation or something like that. And in that method, we will do all the calculations that are needed to be done. Public void. Actually, I'm going to call it compute result. So what are the conditions for a results to be computed? Right? So to be able to compute a result, we need certain things. Let's keep it simple. We'll do one step at a time. We'll just do the whatever the computation is, and then we will see what are the cases that are not covered, and we will add the code for that. So what did we used a switch case here. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll say switch operator. So when the operator is plus, what is the result? Okay. And over here we can call this method compute result. So before it returns, it will compute it. Okay, now you're at least a plus b equal to c. That should work when you run it now. It's doing that, right? What happens if you type working, a plus b. Okay, what happens if you type a number and press equal to? It makes it 0, right? Because it's computing a result where it does not even have an operator. Everything is initialized to 0. What do you expect on a classical calculator? You have a number in the display and you press equal to. What do you expect will happen? So let's say you have the old style calculator, you type 2, 2 and then press equal to. Nothing should happen, it stays as 2, 2, right? Stays the same. And then if you were to type another digit, what would happen? 2, 2, 2. That's one way. So 22 when you press equal to, it gives you a result, 20. Basically, it's not doing anything. So what we want is, here, we want to be checking whether we have set the first number or not, whether we have set the second number or not. All of those things we need to be checking. And whether the operator is set or not, otherwise this here does nothing. So, there are multiple ways of doing it. There is no right or wrong way when it comes to coding. You will find that, there are many ways of doing the same thing in the same language. Just like there are many languages to do the same thing. Right? And people keep inventing new ones. So in the same way, so here there are possibilities. One is, instead of using a native double type, we can use an object of type double with capital D and set it to null when it is not set. The other is, we can use a boolean. We can keep track. We can have a boolean that whether the first number has been set or not, the second number has been set or not, and the operator has been set or not. And that's the approach we are going to take here. So like I said, there is no right or wrong way. There are different ways. So we'll say boolean first number set equal to false. Second number and these will come in handy also when we implement the clear button. We need to clear the model of everything also. So we can just set all of these to false at that point. Now, when does this one first number set become true? It's related to that. In this, look at the code here. Where can we set first number set to true? When we set the first number, right? That time. And where are we setting the first number? Set first number, exactly, here. So set first number is where we will say first number set. So that was the reason why we defined this as a function. It allows us to track. We could have just as well said calculator model dot first number equal to first number. But over here it allows us to do this. Same thing with the second number. Second number set and where is the operator? So this gives us the three pieces of information we need to be able to do a calculation. whether there is a first number, whether there is a second number, and whether there is an operator. If any of those things is missing, we cannot do a computation. If I press 2 plus equal to, what will happen? Those kind of things we'll have to start thinking about. So in our case now, what has happened is, when we start using this, first number will get set, second number will get set, and operator will get set. So in here we need to check whether all these three are available to us or not. So first thing we need to check is, well, we can check for all three. If first number, second number, and operator. If they are not set, then we don't do this computation. We just return. So let's do that. If first number set and second number set and operator set, then we will do this switch. So if you put them in curly brackets, the switch will auto indent. You don't have to indent it. Else it won't do anything. Yes, sir. Getting an error? Working, huh? So that's a cut and paste thing, right? So when we cut and paste, these things can happen that sometimes there is an extra line which we just don't even see while we are doing it. Okay, it's 1:15, 1:12 right now. Where are we? So everybody able to see the result A plus B equal to C is happening? Okay, yours is not happening? 0. Just make sure that you don't have this line inside your case equal to. Okay, everybody else got it? Okay, so why don't we take a 20-minute break? It's 1:12. Let's resume at 1:32. Okay, so we'll resume at 1:32, and then we'll add the other cases and look at some edge cases and try to refine this. Okay.